Yes, well, the taggers there getting involved. Brunton on Mickey McGuan, and the taggers have found it pretty hard to break loose there tonight. Mickey McGuan, one of them.
29 points the difference as the third quarter gets underway in a fiery mode. Sydney through Brunton. Brunton up towards half forward. Minton Connell couldn't take the mark. Ball spills free out to the 50-metre line. Carroll looks for the hand pass and gets it back to Creswell, who came on in the second quarter for only his second game, and McGuan taking the mark at right half back.
I'd be amazed if Ben Doolan's out there for too long. He's limping very badly.
Yeah, when he ran out, Bernie, he was limping. I was surprised.
I thought he was just warming up with the side, but I was amazed when Cameron Williams said that he'd be taking his place in the team.
John kicks down to Minton Connell, who marks just outside 50.
He does kick the ball very well, Simon Minton Connell. He's given Gary Pert a real headache on a couple of occasions. Ben Doolan there with that left knee very, very heavily bandaged. You could see there from that picture he's limping very heavily.
So Simon Minton Connell for goal number 4. Be a great start for Sydney if he can bag this one to start the third term. Distance is okay, accuracy is right, and he's got it. And that's just what Gary Buckenara would have wanted to start the third quarter, 10-9 to 7-4.
There's Simon Minton Connell. Well, he's been a real find for the Sydney Swans in that pickup, that deal involving Greg Williams. Of course, Carlton had to give up a couple of good players if they were to get Greg Williams into that Carlton side. And Minton Connell, he performed pretty well for Carlton on a number of occasions at the full forward position. He's kicked 4 goals tonight, and that makes it 33 for the season playing at full forward for the Swans.
Ball in the centre now. Bays with the right-hand handball gets it to Thripp. Thripp goes wide. This is a good start for the Swans. I'm sure that'll be impressing Buckenara. Strooper back on the ground. Runs the full distance. Perhaps he went too far. A bit of a mongrel kick. Skimmed along the ground and trapped by Richardson. He turns it back into attack for Collingwood. And a good chip kick to Saunders.
He was probably going a little bit too fast in the end, Strooper. He didn't have the chance to steady and really get balanced to drive that kick at goal.
Well, he did break away with good pace, and as you say, Bernie had time to steady. Morwood puts Collingwood into attack. Looking for Starcevic, went up, kept his eyes on it that time. Could have been paid even. Kelly coming through, but Russell pushes it forward for Collingwood. Big punch there from Holmes. And Angove now with the ball. Throws it onto his boot. Fairly ordinary kick. Row round the corner. Starcevic taps it on, but only as far as Brunton and Sydney go forward again.
About as far as they're going. McCartney at midfield. Back to Monkhurst. On to Francis. Very busy player in the first half, Tony Francis, down towards Thripp, who was a leaper from behind to fist the ball forward. Sydney player down too, Thripp. Kelly in the meantime gets it up to midfield. Carroll. Long kick from the skipper. One-on-one duel. Strooper. Gafer. Gafer goes for the boundary line. Or did he rush it through from behind? It's a score, a minor score. Could have almost been delivered out of bounds otherwise. So the ball rushed through for a point to the Sydney Swans. And Gary Pert will again kick in. 7-5 to 10-9. Shane Kerrison hasn't had a run so far. Eddie Hillgrove, the team manager in the foreground there, as Pert prepares to kick in. Gee, Thripp looks a little proppy too, doesn't he?
Very proppy, Pete.
Can't understand Doolan being on though. You can see him there limping. Can they make something of this, Sydney? Ball kicked by Creswell. Onto Carroll. Runs into goal. Long shot from the skipper's bending back, but not far enough. And he's put it through for only one behind. So his tally for the night, 1 goal, 1. 7-6 to 10-9. Sydney starting the third term much better than they did the second. Monkhurst and John. Lawson, who came on in the second quarter, on the Doolan. Can he kick okay? He can! Touched right on the line. Well, I think normally Charity would have got the distance with that kick.
Yes, it's an interesting one certainly, Peter. Perhaps it's just the bandages that are causing him discomfort, although I was impressed then by the way he kicked the ball. And good play by Gary Pert to come back. And he'll kick Collingwood into attack. Long kick now, looking for Monkhurst. Quick handball's a poor one, goes only as far as Gray. Sydney Swans into attack. Minton Connell at the front, good punch by Pert. Francis goes backwards, but it's good play, gives it to Gafer, and he can chip the ball out to Richardson. Nearly stolen by the speedy Lawson. That could have been construed as a throw. Gray, with time, delivers it very poorly. Once again, Richardson sees it over the boundary line.
Some very sloppy hand passing there from the Collingwood team. Monkhurst in the middle of the ground. Really, he just was stationary and tried to get that hand pass away. You like to see a player on the move. If there is a mistake made, Jared, the player's on the move and can back up there and add some support.
Higgins lost sight of it. Shaw, a little short kick. McCartney, Francis at half-back. Usually constructive. This time, again, is long spiral punt kick to the centre half forward position. Oh, Bayes, great mark in front of Morwood. He's played on. Chips it with the left foot. Not a well-directed kick, and McCartney.
He did the hard work, didn't he, Pete, and then just gave it away there.
Yes, it's another turnover, which Gary Buckenara wouldn't be happy with. Starcevic will take the free kick this time. It will be against Angove.
Thrip on the sidelines too, with an obvious ankle injury, a left ankle problem to Terry Thrip.
Starcevic.
That's a free kick, surely.
No, it wasn't.
Ah, come on. I thought that was an obvious free kick against Rocker for nudging the player under the ball there, his opponent. Let's see that one again against Nettlebeck. Well,
I thought Nettlebeck conceded, Bernie, on the replay.
Yeah, maybe right there too, Jared, but sometimes the umpire pays them and sometimes he doesn't. But
Superior Rocker has kicked one behind tonight. Shouldn't miss this from point-blank range. He hasn't. It's a goal.
Yes, you may be right there, Jared. Maybe Nettlebeck just conceding that one a little bit too easily. Starcevic received a free kick. The next free kick here, Nettlebeck just really well. I think you could be right there too, Jared. Just wandering under the ball there. Rocker kicking his first goal for the night. And he's been a real fine for Collingwood playing in that full forward position and appreciating having Bayes moved off him.
Ball back in the centre. Yes, in fact, I think Nettlebeck has been a little bit poor in his aggression. One of the few Swans players not to have lifted tonight. An easy goal to Rocker. Gray does well coming out of the centre. Goes wide for Sydney Swans. Ben Durham once again. Well, he definitely does look as if he is carrying that left knee.
Well, he's limping there. You can see him going back. And Terry Thrip, the other player, off having that left ankle heavily taped. He was in some sort of discomfort when he left the ground.
Gareth John does well, takes a centre spot, but Richardson kicks the ball forward for Collingwood. Over the back was the fly from Bayes, but he didn't even touch the ball. Rowe overran the ball. Carroll getting back on it. Quick handball to that player there in Brunton. He looks for a handball, but decides on a kick. Mooney flicks the ball out to Cresswell. Cresswell onto Leon Higgins. He's got the goals in sight, and he goes banging it straight through the middle. Leon Higgins kicks his first goal for the afternoon or the evening, and Sydney strike back 8-7. They still trail Collingwood, however, who are 11-9.
Well, they've got to within 20 points though, Jared, and it's been a good start, the start of the second half by the Sydney Swans. They're a pretty committed bunch tonight. A couple of weeks ago I was critical as a player taken from the ground for Collingwood, Brad Rowe. Kerrison on for his first run for the evening. As I think Brad Rowe just took his eye off the ball at the critical moment, and that's why he's been removed from the ground.
20 points the difference. Monkhurst and John. Russell hacks it out of the air up to the edge of the square. And a good mark taken by Mickey McGuan. Still inside the centre square. Looks for Dacos. Lewis has done a great job on him. The rebound was taken by Carroll. Saunders and Higgins. Gee, was that out on the full? Came off Saunders' boot.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so, Pete. But Peter Dacos would have had a pretty sleepless night. His daughter born at 9 a.m. this morning, so he spent most of the night at the hospital. Not much sleep would have been had there.
Monkhurst again and John. Monkhurst front position. Ball kicked up for Sydney by Creswell. Krasiska. Mooney, it was a good bump by him. Collingwood player still was able to dispose of the ball. Monkhurst grabbed when not in possession, must get a free kick. Graham Wright decides to break clear, and you would ask why the advantage rule wasn't paid.
Oh, because play wasn't continuous, Pete. That's why.
Thank
the
you,
players
Bernard.
did stop. And the play must be continuous for advantage to be paid.
Good mark to Morwood. Gee, I've liked his game tonight. Got Collingwood moving in the first quarter. Morwood spears the pass, looking for Dacos. Lewis is there, quick hand pass. Lawson, quick hands and quick feet. Look at him go. On to Bayes. Bayes from inside the square. It might be downfield. There's a Sydney player down in Bayes. Well, the free kick will be taken at the centre half forward position.
A free kick against Mark Fraser there, against infringement on Bayes after he had delivered the ball further upfield. But yes, Gerard Dale-Lewis doing a very good job.
Well, that was inspiring stuff down there, wasn't it?
Playing a terrific game on Peter Dacos.
And Troy Gray's going to take the free kick. Gives it away to Lawson. Couldn't see anything gained in that. Mitchell, quick hand pass. Minton Connell for number 5. Has he got it? I think he has. Yes, sir. So Sydney, after being just about buried by the Magpies in the second quarter, 9-7 to 11-9, they trailed by 14 points.
Yes, well, Simon Minton Connell, 5 goals straight. We saw that hand pass coming. There was a little bit of dismay in the box there, but at least it opened up the play a little bit. Something did happen. They're trying things. They're not being predictable. And the Sydney Swans now within 14 points have done a terrific job at the start of this second half.
Well, this is a good old-fashioned Sydney fight back. And the Swans fans have finally found some voice. And we know when they get going, that they can inspire the Swans on to deeds above their ability. So perhaps Matthews has his problems as he attempts the grand slam of interstate wins. Kick out of the centre there quickly by Mitchell. But a good mark there to Scott Russell, who ran back with a flight of play. Onto McCartney. He looks awfully like Gary Pert as he strides away. The 18-year-old, excellent kick. But Dennis Carroll drops back, out-bustles Starcevic. And he's obviously been shifted to the other end of the ground. Looking wide for Strooper, and does find him.
There's something happening here in this second half. You can just feel that the Swans have lifted.
Certainly have. Ball will have to come back now. Stroop will have to go back over and kick over his mark, or handball in fact. Cresswell once again getting a couple of kicks in this third quarter. Finds Paul Kelly. Kelly telling the umpire how to run the show. Better off getting back and moving it on quickly. Good running from Cresswell. Picked up in the June draft. Hasn't been many success stories from that. Perhaps he's another. Kelly going forward over the top of Thurl, and at the back was Gareth John. Must have been touched in flight. Bernie Quinlan nods in agreement.
Yes, touched on the way through, Jerry, but gee, the Sydney Swans, they really have lifted since half time. And really, as Peter said, if it hadn't been for that black 15 minutes start of the second quarter, the Swans could have been really, well, just about leading Collingwood at this stage of the match.
A sandwich of players there. Killed the football 30 metres out from Sydney's goal. Cameron Williams, you've got a report on Terry Thripp.
Yes, unfortunately Terry won't be able to take any more part in the game. He did come off initially just to have his left ankle re-strapped because it's got a slight strain in it, but he can't get any spring out of it at all, so he's no use to them.
Well, that's 2 players that are sidelined permanently this evening for Sydney. Doolin and Thripp right at midfield. Had Francis of the option, decided to ignore him. He's gone long. Starcevic, where was Carroll? A little bit late on the scene. Knock on by Dacos. And a good knock on by Holmes has got the ball out of bounds. Might be deliberate.
No, the umpire indicating a throw in, Pete. But, gee, the Sydney Swan defenders really appreciating the efforts being put in by these the players here tonight. They're having a go, aren't they?
Well, they are having a go. They've fought their way back into contention in this match. And doing a pretty good job against a side going for the double chance. And not a bad Collingwood side they've got out there tonight too. Missing Gavin Brown, of course. He'll be out for a few weeks. Craig Kelly, of course, for the season. But what a stars in that black and white jumper. Starcevic, he's been good tonight. And Sydney able to tie it up again. Morwood racing for it. 14 minutes left in this term and 14 points the difference. Shane Kerrison there has just come onto the ground, and we await the bounce. Holmes sees it safely over the boundary line again, and so a throw-in will take place right next to the behind post in Collingwood's left forward pocket. Rocker, ball knocked down to Lewis. Kicks from a standing start up towards the edge of the square. Rebound taken away for the Swans up towards midfield. McCartney, as Gerard said, looks a lot like Gary Pert. Lawson with speed and finesse. The Wentworth Wizard kicks out to Kelly. Kelly on the edge of the square. The Swans finding something. Perhaps it's a little bit of heart that was certainly lacking when they played Fitzroy. This is Higgins. Good pass. Strooper had an indifferent first half. Mitchell, quick hand pass. Creswell, also quick. Higgins gets taken out of it with a good hip and shoulder. Ball out of bounds. Free kick.
Well, things start to happen, don't they, when the side gets a little bit of a run on, as Sydney Swans have in this third quarter. May have been a one-handed hand pass there from Creswell.
Well, look, a fair bump, Bernie. I thought it was a good hip and shoulder on Higgins. Coming in for kick number 11. Maybe just a little bit too far out for him.
He's favoured by the angle, being a left footer though, Pete.
Yes.
From that side of the ground.
Goes in short. Bad pass. Mitchell kicks it off the ground. Tony Shaw will be content to take it over the boundary line, which he does. A throw and will follow.
It's ordinary kick there coming from Higgins. Really, there was under no sort of pressure.
Well, it's not that tight over there either for a left footer. I would have expected him to have a shot at goal. However, Sydney still on attack. Mooney and Kelly. Kelly goes to ground. He's smothered by Francis there. Ball comes out. A quick kick. Mitchell weaves his magic, comes through. He puts Ben Doolan, who can't bend over. Swans still with the ball. This time Higgins round on the left foot. He ducks back, swings it onto his non-preferred right, puts it up in the air. McCartney comes across, knocks it through from behind. Connell there, 1 against 3. Perhaps that ball should have gone to the top of the square.
Yes, well, he was under a fair bit of pressure though then in the end, Higgins to get his kick away.
Gary Pert kicks in. Had a good duel tonight on Minton Connell, though Minton Connell has kicked 5. Brunton, gee, that was an ordinary sort of a hand pass to Kelly, who did well to pick it up. Back to Lawson, gets clear of Fraser, only just. Chance for Holmes, too far out to score. That kick, or is he? It bounces through for a goal. Sydney on the warpath. Well, we saw Holmes' stats before, not really impressive, but with that one, he's back in the good books.
Yes, well, as we said, Pete, it's been a terrific performance by Sydney in this third quarter. And we see the replay of this. The Sydney Swans players have really lifted a few notches. They've been prepared to run and tackle and do the hard things. And it's been 4 goals to 1 in this third term.
Darren Holmes kicks his second goal for the season, and what a time it comes at for Sydney Swans. Saunders bursts off the edge of the square there and drives Collingwood into attack. They must find something now because the Swans are full of running. Scott Russell looking up there for Starcevic or Rocker. Off the ground went Brunton. Kelly and Mitchell in pursuit. Swans have got the numbers at the ball. Carroll works his way into position, but Mitchell ignores that and looks for John. A poor kick, however, and through comes McCartney. Well, he's paid impeding, a poor decision from the umpire. However, play goes on with Saunders. Chips that ball over to McGuan, who's been quiet this turn. McGuan's got Starcevic all alone. How costly are those turnovers? And Starcevic will line up for possibly his 4th goal for the evening.
And it's very costly, Jared, as you said. Sydney Swans just turning over that ball. McCartney possibly a little bit lucky. He was caught red hot there by Dennis Carroll in a very good tackle.
Starcevic lays back on the kick, but it floats through for another goal. Collingwood strike back. They lead 12-9 to 10-8.
There's 4 goals to Craig Starcevic. And really a steadying goal. It's something that Collingwood really needed because Sydney Swans have been pretty fired up here at the start of this second half as we see Peter Dacos being taken from the ground. And that's a testimony to the fact that Dale Lewis has played a terrific game in defence. Bradrow back on the ground.
Back to the centre.
Waiting to pick him up.
Under 10 minutes, yes, Peter Dacos taken off. I have to say that's some sort of a sensation. And there's the man that did the job on him, Lewis. He's played a great game tonight. Lewis at left centre half back. Marking contest on centre wing. Lawson or Gray were his targets. Krasiska was there and saw it safely over the boundary line.
Yes, Pete. Well, Lee Matthews, he's not afraid to take the stars from the ground. Last week he took Tony Shaw from the ground against the Brisbane Bears and left him on the bench for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, Lee later made the point, though, that he had a busy time with state commitments, etc. So I guess in hindsight it was sensible.
Perhaps Dacos had a busy time last night.
Yes, looks like it, doesn't it?
Take nothing away from Lewis, however.
No, he's done a good job. Bounce. Same two ruckman, Monkhurst and John. Francis scoops it out. Richardson, likewise. Lawson, outnumbered. Ball slapped inboard. That'll be a free kick. Barry Mitchell, one of the workhorses.
Yes, they've been
Sydney.
prepared to put their bodies in, Peter, haven't they? Head over the ball there, Barry Mitchell. He really earned that free kick.
Well, I don't know whether he was told to play on. He decides to. Certainly runs his full distance. Marking contest on 50. Strooper gives it to Creswell, who fumbles initially. Snapshot is there. Great goal. Creswell kicks his first, and that'll be his first career goal for Sydney. 11-8 to 12-9.
Yes, well, gee, this has been a terrific performance by the Sydney Swans. Barry Mitchell there just getting around Tony Shaw. The kick into the forward line. Strooper takes it. Just held on to it a little bit long, I thought, initially. He did eventually get it over to Creswell. Creswell was able to regroup. Fantastic kick for goal.
Peter Dacos looks on. Creswell kicking his second career goal, so I've shortchanged him. 74 to 81, and less than 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Francis puts the Magpies into attack.
Well, he took a bounce, he fumbled, but recovers well. He goes straight at goal. It looks pretty good. Good shepherd from Rocker. Great goal. Well, Nettlebeck was incensed. He thought he touched it, but not paid, however. And Collingwood now 13-9. The Swans 11-8.
Well, this has turned into a fantastic contest here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Tony Francis, equal to any rover playing the game of Australian rules football in the AFL competition. Just breaking away, winning the ball from the centre square. And there's Nettlebeck saying, well, I did get a finger to that one. The umpire having none of that. And a good goal to Tony Francis, 45 metres on the run.
Excellent goal to Francis. The quick reply for the Magpies. 74 to 87. Again, the difference out to 13 points. But this is a great contest. Monkhurst, will he give it to Saunders? 3 Sydney Swans there. Kelly, well tackled by Saunders. The umpire will bounce it just off the centre square, or centre circle. Monkhurst and John. John with the gloves, not to the advantage of his side. McCartney, a quick kick out to the wing position. It's a foot race. And the ball taken over the boundary line. It's Lewis and Fraser. Not really impressive stats for Lewis, but of course he was the man that minded Peter Dacos. John, Higgins, Creswell, Lawson. Lawson's got the speed. Look at him go. It's around Krasiska. Is that downfield? Swans fans asking for it. McCartney close to the boundary line. He's content to see the ball over. Boundary throw in at left half forward flank. One of the young Lions in the Magpie lineup, Jason McCartney, looks to have a great future. Strooper up in front. Out the back is Gray. Oh, gets legged, did he? Umpire was only 3 feet from that and says no, play on. And Fraser will do that. Oh, look at Lawson go chasing him. But the gap was too great. Kicks down to half forward. Rocker takes the advantage of a spilled mark and goal. Saverio Rocker gets his second, and Collingwood has the answer. 11-8 to 14-9. The Magpies again kick clear.
Yes, Peter, I'm not sure that's a great move putting Nettlebeck at full back. He didn't get many kicks in that first half on the forward line, but why rob Peter to pay Paul? Because Mark Bayes didn't give Saverio Rocker a look in the first half. He's now kicked 2 goals, both coming in this third quarter. So I don't know about that move.
Was that a mark to Holmes, Bernie, or was it play on?
Play on, definitely.
Big punch out of the centre of the ground there by Gareth John, using the gloves to effect. Cresswell off the ground. Doolan once again, perhaps impeded with a leg injury. Richardson dragged the ground by Higgins. Was that ball out of bounds? No, says the boundary umpire. Scott Russell runs under the ball. Terrific mark by Dale Lewis. And he'll pump this one 50 metres with the trusty left foot. Looking for Minton Connell, who's on the lead. Takes it to the front of the pack. In the gutter was Kelly. Kelly roves it well. Flicks it back to the voice, who was Mitchell's. And an easy free kick by Gary Pert is paid.
Caught the umpires. He caught the umpire there, Jared. We see this really hardly touched, and Gary Pert really staged for that one.
Well, if the sun was out, you could possibly say he had stroke, but not on that occasion. So the ball on the half-forward flank for Sydney Swans. They've done well in this early part of the quarter. Collingwood, the last couple of goals, though, struck back. Higgins goes to ground. He's paid a free kick, however, for holding a man. Well, I thought he cleverly threw that ball out just before the impact of the tackle. Scott Russell on the mark. Good chip kick from Lewis. Well, Lewis attempted to play on, but he's been told he's got to go back over his mark. And perhaps Bernie Lewis has been moved up onto the ball.
Well, maybe Gary Buckenara feeling that Brad Rowe's not as much a danger as Peter Dacos, and rightly so.
Chip kick looking there for Doolan. A fine pass from Lewis. And Doolan now should shoot from about the same position he kicked the goal earlier in the quarter.
Well, Tony Shaw might be playing in the back pocket now, Jared, because Doolan definitely down on that forward line after injuring that left knee.
Yes, I see Kerrison on Mitchell. Doolan, poor kick, slews across the side of the goals. Strooper went to fly and has given a free kick away, going well before acceptances.
Well, that Jared just shows how much of a problem that Doolan has, because he is a natural left footer. No?
I don't think so.
I'm sure he's a left footer, Ben Doolan.
Well,
he took that shot at goal. He took that shot at goal with his right foot. If he's a right footer, he's a very ordinary right footer.
No, I'm pretty sure he's a right footer.
All right. Okay, we'll check that one.
It was an ordinary kick, let's put it that way. I think if he was a steeplechase, they'll be putting up the screen. He doesn't look 100%, does he? Mick McGuire's hand pass is intercepted by Barry Mitchell. Mitchell's quick kick up to the forward pocket can't be marked. Gaither strong in defence for the Magpies. An errant bounce ultimately favours right. If he can pick it up, gets pushed in the back by Bay. There's nothing for it. Warwood was in there, Brunton, and the Swans able to take the ball over the boundary line in front of Shane Warwood for a throw-in. 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. It has been a pretty eventful one. It started out with a lot of pushing and shoving off the edge of the square. The best quarter of football tonight. Both sides going at it pretty solidly. Monkhurst and John. It's won by the Collingwood Blonde. Down to McGuan. Nearly gets leg. Would have been a free kick. He plays on. McGuan. Long kick up towards full forward. No mark taken from Rocker. Plenty of speed from Fraser. Excellent kick by the youngster. What a goal! Fraser's second. You can't fence the Magpies in. 15-9 to 11-8.
Just sneaking away again, Collingwood. 25 points now, the margin. Mickey McGuan fairly quiet since that first quarter, just breaking away. A long kick into that forward line. Rocker on the lead. You'll see the pace of two very pacey players there. Fraser onto the boot quickly and tumbling it end over end. An excellent goal.
Ball back in the centre of the ground. Swans going forward now through Lawson. Poor handball looking for Brunton. And Kerrison, who's now on Mitchell, drives Collingwood further ahead. Carroll on the burst, leading Starcevic to the ball. He goes straight down the middle of the ground. That's the way to go. Terrific mark. McCartney dropping back with courage, keeping his eye on the ball. Pert now feigns a handball, getting himself into a bit of trouble. What can they do with this? Well, good play, I thought, in the end by Gaither. They were going nowhere fast there, the Pies. And Gaither throws it through for a behind. Gary Pert, perhaps he'll learn from that one, ducking back into trouble. Big kick down the centre of the ground, however. McCartney came over the back. Gareth John incensed. He believes it was his free kick. Monkhurst will take it.
Kicks out to centre wing, and Scotty Russell Now the South Australian goes goalward. Likes a goal, 53 metres out. That's a ripper kick. Oh, it just touched right on the line. All but home. A fingernail in it.
There's Holmes coming over the top there, affecting that spoil.
Well, he reckons he touched the last one too, or one of them down there.
Well, Nettlebeck was a player that thought he touched the last one, Pete.
So 1 out of 2. Under 2 minutes left in the third term. Collingwood answering the challenge, thrown out by Sydney. They've bolted away again. Over 4 goals in it now. Starcevic. Ball knocked down to Mitchell. Looking for options, not too many. Kicks into the man on the mark. Want to do the tidying up work here before three-quarter time. Bays' kick looks for Higgins. The ball knocked out of his arms and out of bounds on the centre wing. Quite impressive stats for Leon Higgins. 13 kicks. It's going to be McCartney who does the ruck work, does it on his own. And fists the ball out of bounds, gaining about 5 metres for the Magpie side. Going for the Interstate Grand Slam. Played at Carrara last Saturday night. The Swans, of course, played Interstate as well last week over at Subiaco and got rolled. Hand pass comes out of the pack. Away they go again. Tony Francis. Busy. Mark and lead. Brad Rowe. Clock ticking down to three-quarter time. 3/4 of a minute left. Too far out to score. A kick and a bit from goal there. Puts the ball high. Knocked away from Rocker. Lawson looks for a hand pass. Hand passes it back into trouble. Carroll over the top. And Bays should be able to get them out of danger. Momentarily, perhaps. Krasiska looks for Tony Shaw. 20 seconds remaining. A mark here. The Magpies need. They won't get it. And the mark is taken in the last line of defence by Angove.
13 seconds left on the shot clock. Angove drives Sydney forward, but McCarthy, who's playing probably his best game for Collingwood, takes another great mark. Jason McCartney won't take his kick as the siren goes for three-quarter time. Collingwood have a 25-point lead. They lead 15-10 to 11-9. Of course, struggling with abdominal strain.
So the final quarter from the Sydney Cricket Ground, Collingwood leading by 25 points in this round 18 encounter, and led by 29 at half-time. Krasiska gets buried in the tackle. Francis from Shaw. And Tony Francis booting up towards left half forward. Carroll knocks the ball clear. Bays takes the hand pass from Holmes. And the numbers again favouring Collingwood. Gavin Krasiska taking the good mark. It was over the top of Strooper. Krasiska left half-back flank for the Magpies. The pack of players set themselves. Bays was the one to knock it towards the boundary line. Kerrison's hand pass is effective. Starcevic gets unloaded. And Kerrison again applying the tackle on Dennis Carroll, but the ball over the boundary line in the meantime. We'll see it thrown in between wing and left half forward. Monkhurst had the honours early. Creswell over to Brunton. Up to midfield. Fraser and Lawson race forward. Russell gets there first. And Lawson has the chance, aided by a couple of good shepherds, to pick the ball up. Lawson kicks down towards half forward, and once again, same man in the road, Gavin Krasiska takes the good mark. Krasiska kicks towards centre wing. The leader's on out there, and effective Monkhurst gives the hand pass away brilliantly. Or Pert tried to bounce it. Lawson got taken high. Might have been a free kick. Didn't matter anyway. Lawson gets his kick, but under pressure has put it out of bounds on the full. In fact, probably there wasn't that much pressure there. He should have done better with that.
Well, a little optimistic there from Gary Pert trying to bounce the ball. The conditions probably starting to get a little bit greasy down there at ground level.
Maybe Gary Ablett could have got away with this.
They'll kick it.
But not too many. Krasiska to take the free.
Yes, he drives Collingwood into attack. Dennis Carroll pushed off the ball. Kelly gets it to Bays. He scoops that ball over the boundary line. Could have been construed as a throw, but I think the fist was clenched. And on centre wing, a throw-in. Monkhurst and Gareth John. John, who replaced Tunbridge in the selected side. Creswell. He's on Tony Shaw at the present time. He drives it forward. At the back of the pack was Mitten Connell. Will he pay the mark? He does. Gary Pert not saying much, so perhaps it was just good use of the body.
Yes, he's been good tonight again, Simon Midden-Connell. He did kick 7 goals here up against class opposition in Chris Langford. And now against one of the better fullbacks in the competition, Gary Pert. Simon Midden-Connell, he's kicked 5 goals straight, coming in for his 6th goal from about 45 metres.
Well, this is to keep the Swans in touch for his 6th goal. Looks good off the boot. Just pushed it wide, however, for one behind. So his first blemish for the night. He's now kicked 5-1, and Sydney trail by 4 straight goals.
Gary Pert to kick in. Overs the grandstand side, commentary box side, and McCartney playing a very good game. He's at the centre half back position. Kicks to half forward Carroll with the big fist. Creswell again, Swans rookie. Ball bounces better for Gaffer. Oh gee, that was close to a throw. Richardson did well to pick it up and then gets pushed in the back. Surely a free kick. Can't argue with that. And Richardson just up from the back pocket to take the free. Playing his 50th game tonight too, incidentally. So said the Collingwood banner before the game. Richardson from the left back pocket. Big pack of players. Monkhurst has to go up one hand and nearly took the grab too. Kerrison, who started on the bench tonight for Collingwood, kicks up towards Holmes. He kicked a spectacular goal earlier, one that bounced through. Mitchell maybe can make something out of nothing. No, he couldn't. And the Magpies do clear the ball. Kick coming from Gary Pert up towards midfield. Holmes again pushes the ball out of the pack. Scooped further forward again. Strooper bumped off it. Gaffer at the bottom of it. Assistance from Monkhurst. And it'll be a bounce on the centre wing position when they finally get up. Kelly, the last man there. Monkhurst over the head of John. Francis got a knee to it rather than a boot. And Higgins slaps it over the boundary line for Sydney, a throw-in.
There's Dennis Carroll playing across half-back. Mooney playing centre-half forward now on McCartney in this final term.
Brunton limping too.
Throw-in is won by Monkhurst, who took the front spot, but Higgins on the right foot kicks it forward. And Strooper takes, well, what will be paid a mark. I think on the second bite it may have hit the ground, but...
A sensational effort from Strooper. He's been pretty quiet tonight up against a very good defender in Mick Gaffer. Strooper has kicked 34 goals, the same number of goals as Simon Midden-Connell has kicked.
He's done well. He's come round the boundary line to open up the angle. As you see, using the drop punt. But once again, he's pushed it to the right and will be paid out on the full. Didn't look confident at all, Bernie, going for that goal.
Well, as you said, Jared, he did open up the goal face slightly, but then he ran towards that point post, so well, he didn't run directly in that direct line as we know players should when kicking at goal.
Another scalp to the human blanket, it looks. Gaffer done a terrific job on Strooper. Once again, both players on screen. McCartney comes over the top. The mark will be paid to the big fellow in Monkhurst. There's John, wrestles.
50 metres.
And finally 50 metres. Well, he was warned by the umpire. And finally now will pay the price. And this on this short ground is just one of the reasons I believe the 50-metre penalty never fits the crime. Brings him to almost within goal kicking distance.
Yeah, well, you're right there. You just cannot afford to give 50 metres away on this ground. He'll be kicking from about 60 metres out.
Well, he chips it in. Using the body there was Big Rocco. Dacos with a bit of magic off the ground, but it doesn't go through for a goal. Lawson, poor kick. Disastrous kick. Hit the wrong point of the ball and it went like a banana over the boundary line.
Well, it's always a dangerous practice here to keep the ball high off the boot when kicking, certainly around the corner from the back line. Some of the experienced players try to ground the ball, just dribble it out. Scott
Russell has a fly at the goals. It bent back at the end, but still on the wrong side of the goal post for only behind. So a bit of a lull in play here. Collingwood lead 15-11, Sydney 11-10. Something must break now.
25 points the difference. That's what it was at three-quarter time. Craig Nettlebeck without the headband this year. Marking contest. Holmes in front was the one that nearly brought it down. Fraser applies a tackle. Umpire Dennis Rich will bounce it. So Collingwood quite content to go on the way they're going at the moment. They have the score on the board, 4 goals plus. Sydney needs to draw level. Lawson, a grab and a fumble. Now another possession. Out to the edge of the square. Carroll running with the fight of the ball. Leaves it for his teammate down there, and in the end that proved to be the Swans' undoing. Krasiska able to take advantage of that situation. A little chip shot, perhaps intended for Kerrison. Rowe goes backwards again to Krasiska, who's had a good final quarter, but Mark Bayes takes the mark at centre half back. A little bit short of that position. Bayes out wide. Creswell, Nettlebeck. 17 and a half minutes left in this match. Marking contest at midfield. McGuan, quick hand pass on the end of it. Francis played another tremendous game tonight. The little South Australian up towards half forward. 1-on-1 marking contest again. Kerrison takes the crumbs well. Gives it back to Francis. Chips it in short. Starcevic, who's been elusive. They're playing keepings off at the moment, aren't they? Kerrison again. Oh, good mark. Scotty Russell. He marks right on 50.
Not intended for him, Peter.
I don't think so.
For Peter Dacos on the lead.
He's having one of those nights.
Well, Dakes is having a quiet night, but I think we'll forgive him.
There's a pass again, and you see Dacos just coming into the picture there. Scotty Russell chipping in and having this shot at goal from maybe just inside the 50-metre line.
Can kick the ball long. Does so. Goal umpire hasn't moved. It's a goal. Scotty Russell gets his first. He's kicked 1-1 now. And Collingwood, you would think, just about almost safe in this match.
There's a bit of breathing space now for the Pies. See this in replay. Starcevic, keepings off there from Starcevic. Dacos out a couple of metres in front. Probably would have hit him lace out right on the chest, but Scotty Russell chipping in and kicking his first goal for the evening.
9 individual goal kickers now for Collingwood. Scott Russell getting his first on the board. Gareth John gets the tap to Kelly. Kick not that effective, however. Punch there was from Richardson. Francis in pursuit. Good pace, Francis. With strength, breaks through, gets his handball. Here comes another speedster in Lawson. Gets it as far as that player there for Sydney Swans in Brunton. Mitchell now back to Kelly. Kelly goes long, the empty goal square. Could it roll through? No, it's wide of the goal post. And Saunders sees it over the goal line. So Sydney Swans need goals, not points. Pert kicks it wide. Under pressure there is Richardson. And a throw-in will take place in the half-forward flank for the Sydney Swans. They need goals now, the Swans. They're being competitive, that's what we asked for, but close seconds are no value on the ladder. They need a win to get their confidence back. Mitchell playing with the ball, finally gets the free kick. Impeded there by Kerrison.
Barry Mitchell, the Swans stalwart. Kick number 15 coming up. And possession number 24. And the forward line at the moment rather statuesque, not too much on offer. And that's why he's taking a bit of time, too much time, one would suggest. Getting plenty of advice from the crowd. Now finally picks out an option. Well, didn't turn out to be a good one. Creswell, quick hand pass to Brunton. Kick into the pocket, and Saunders might have got a fingernail to that. It's out of bounds. Sydney's left forward pocket, a boundary throw into Fogger. Simon Minton-Connell has kicked 5 goals, 1 tonight. Eddie Hillgrove there, team manager, as Dacos goes off, so twice in one night. Pete's been taken off.
Yes, and Graham right back on.
Snapshot by Stroop, or was it? It's a goal. So Sydney's 12-11 to 16-11. They're still in there pitching.
Yes, well, they certainly, it's been a much improved effort tonight as we see Drooper take that one out of the ruck in the forward pocket, get it to his left boot very quickly, and Drooper just edges ahead once again of Simon Minton-Connell as the leading Sydney Swans goal kicker for 1992.
Back in the centre. Good goal of the Swans. Mitchell burrowing in. Through comes Lewis. Haven't seen much of him this quarter. Kicks it long. Strooper once again brings the ball to ground. Minton-Connell's beaten for it by Richardson. Saunders taps the ball forward. but will be paid a free kick for holding the man. Saunders onto the left foot. Monkhurst by himself. That won't please Buckenara. He wants a one-on-one contest. Gives it the right. Right's dragged down from behind. Excellent play from the Swans. In Engove, a very quick player. Kerrison, fresh air. And a ball up will take place. It's almost centre wing.
Sure, it's been a bit of a dirty night again for Graham Wright too. He's been on
A couple
on
of times,
and off
hasn't
the
he?
bench. He just replaced Peter Dacos. He spent a fair bit of time bench warming tonight.
He was an important player for Collingwood. We saw last year when he was injured, the Pies go down the ladder. He has had a fairly good season this year. I guess he's being pinpointed and tagged a lot more now. Mitchell drives them forward. Coming out is McCartney, who took it on the half volley. No mark paid. Speedy Gonzalez takes it. Lawson gets it to Kelly. Kelly goes wide, looking once again for Strooper, and Strooper charges off. He's got the goals in his sights. Steadies. This time he's kicked it. Good goal to Strooper. 13-11. Sydney still trail Collingwood by 3 straight goals, 16-11.
Yes, McCartney believing he took that mark. By saying it got to him on the half volley. We see Strooper take this very good chest mark, then dash away from Gaither. He had pressure from the player coming in from the side there, and then he steered that one through. An excellent goal. 2 goals to David Strooper, both coming in this last quarter.
3 goals the difference. Oh, the umpire's down. 3 goals the difference, and Collingwood go into attack now. So the Sydney Swans have done well to get back into this match. Bays' kick is out towards the centre wing position. Mooney turns on a threepenny bet, centres it well, and Lewis takes the mark. 13 minutes left, so if Sydney's good enough, they can get up to win. Pert punches away from Minton Connell. Monkhurst, good hand pass. Gaither onto Francis. Again, Collingwood rebound. They've done that tonight whenever Sydney is threatened. Up to Starcevic. Good tackle by Bays. The ball spills free on centre wing. Chance for Sydney to go forward again. The ball tapped along the ground, picked up by Kelly, who was looking back. I think they thought there might have been a free kick. And Higgins is marked too far out to score, possibly, with the left footer. He wants to get it moving quickly if he can. Minton Connell makes a lead. He's decided to ignore it. He's put it long into the square. High flyers needed. Sydney hasn't got anybody. Doolan punches. Saunders. And does that indicate to us that Doolan is not 100% fit?
He's in a lot of strife, Pete. He just couldn't chase there.
Fraser is quick. Fraser kicks to half forward. One-on-one duel. Creswell. Rowe with Holmes. Long hand pass. McGuan goes at goal. And has he got it? I think he has. Yes, sir. Dick McGuan gets his first, and Collingwood again takes some breathing space. They lead by 4 goals.
They just seem to have the class, the Pies, just to that steadying goal, as we see this in replay from Saunders. They were able to rebound there when Doolan had the ball. He's really struggling with that injury to the left knee. He couldn't really do much with it once he gained possession, and then he couldn't apply the tackle because he couldn't chase. So Collingwood able to get it from one end of the ground to the other very quickly.
Well, Strooper's in the ruck for Swans. Gareth John is limping badly. Engove kicks the ball to nowhere. Will probably beat all players over the boundary line.
If you've got your jumper, you could probably get a game.
No thanks at the moment. Another player we haven't seen much of tonight is Lehman, who was benched early in the piece, yet to return.
We wouldn't pass the fat test now, Pete.
Thanks, Bernie. Throw in on centre wing. Strooper in ruck against Monkhurst. Monkhurst does it easily. Scott Russell takes one high. Well, it shouldn't be a free kick down the ground because it was at the impact of the kick. Good decision, umpire Harvey.
And another player down. It looks like Kasiska with maybe an arm injury. Oh, he's okay.
Well, Troy Gray and Tony Francis are remonstrating in the middle. Russell kicks it to Kasiska. Well, his arm looks all right now. Goes long, looking for McGuan at the back. McGuan and Brunton. Well, the ball's kept in play, or is it? No, says the umpire. And he'll take it up for a throw-in deep in Collingwood's forward line. And Cresswell, a new player versus one of the oldest in Tony Shaw. I wonder if Tony's given him a lesson in verbal skills tonight. Bays for the ruck against Starcevic. Players dive on the ball. Brunton brings it out. Francis will try to keep this in, but the slippery ball just eludes him and over the boundary line.
Don't think Tony Shaw makes any exceptions, does he?
No, I think he wouldn't be making any exception on that occasion.
Got a pretty good teacher, I think, and his brother too. He could hand it out.
It was Ray. Bays. Starcevic brought to ground. Important ball to win. That's almost in the back. Should be. It is.
The free kick will be taken there by Richardson. Alan Richardson on the forward line.
And on the boundary line. Hasn't scored a goal tonight. But his teammates have.
Hasn't scored a goal for the season, Pete.
13 kicks tonight, though. So possession number 20 coming up. And Gavin Krasiska perhaps indicating an option. Not whether he's going to ignore it. Runs around and is missed completely. So a chance for Sydney to scoop it away, which they do. And on the run is Mark Bays. Good pass. And Sydney finally getting some run. And make something out of this. Lawson's kick. Minton Connell and Perth. He's broken the tackle. Strooper kick one from there. Minton Connell can't. That's to the delight of the Magpie supporters behind the goal. And after kicking 5 goals straight, he's now managed 5 goals too.
Yes, well, he did all the hard work there, Simon Minton Connell. He broke away very well from Gary Pert. And then just couldn't finish it off. But it's been a good performance from Simon Minton Connell, full forward tonight.
Yes, he's done better than his opposite number at the Collingwood end in Severio Rocker. He played a good game up on the Gold Coast. Monkhurst. Richardson gets his own hand pass. Good smother by Higgins. Picked up by Wright. Ball spills free. Tackle and tackled well by Kelly. But it's going to be a Collingwood free kick.
Yes, the umpire, I think he was right on that occasion, Jerry. He certainly rode right into the ground.
Gavin Krasiska. Krasiska at left centre wing, as I said earlier, has had a good last quarter. Starcevic nearly took the mark. Had a couple of bites at it, wasn't paid. Angove overruns it. Picked up by Wright, who gets tackled pretty smartly. And as a result, the ball spills free out of the centre wing. And Kerrison might have pushed his opponent in the back. And much to the delight of the Sydney Swans fans, it will be a Sydney free kick to be taken by Barry Mitchell.
He did that well, Barry Mitchell. He realised he was about to be tackled, didn't take possession.
On the Troy Gray, who kicks to half forward. Lewis and Pert. Back to Gray again. Good hand pass. Strooper. He'll have to be quick because Fraser is. He intended that for Creswell, who gets grabbed, not in possession. Umpire says play on. Lawson overruns it. Back to Strooper once more. Lewis in trouble and fumbled at the crucial moment. Tackled by Shaw onto Higgins. Tried the bump from Wright. He saw it coming. Fraser, Richardson, Mitchell. Lovely sidestep. Left foot is high. Won't get the distance. Collingwood players have plenty come out to defend. And they will get clear. Saunders, a short kick. Kelly underneath it. Chance for Francis to do the tidying up, which he does.
His left foot kick's not a good one, but it gives Brad Rowe a chance. Monkhurst showing all his skills. Looks like a ballet dancer. Not a good one at that. Rowe goes forward. And Starcevic takes a mark unattended as Mooney goes to ground. He moves the ball quickly. Big punch from behind there from Nettlebeck. Another punch there from Lawson. Lawson onto Creswell. Mitchell has that spoiled away from Kerrison. Yep, Graham Wright, centre half forward. At the back is McGuan. Has he marked it? He didn't believe so. He played on. Creswell came through. Brunton. Nettlebeck. Lewis once again. He's covering some ground now. Poor play from Bays. He should have taken that. Now's not the time for the fancy stuff. Good play there by Rocker. Gives it Carroll now and on to Kelly. Kelly goes forward. Not a good kick. There's no one there for Sydney. And McCartney ducks back. And we'll see this ball over the boundary line. On the far forward flank for Sydney, right on their 50-metre line.
Holmes was still a little bit winded behind play after that hip and shoulder from Rocker.
Over 6 minutes of play still remaining. The Swans possibly still a chance, but they have to get a couple of goals in a hurry. Kelly ducks around. He can run in and just about pop this one in the square. In there is Gareth John with the gloves on. Over the back was a big fly by Krasiska. Mitten Connell once again, he's impeded and flicks the ball over the boundary line for a throw-in. Yes, well, they're hiding Gareth John now in the forward line. He's limping badly.
Yes, he looks very properly, doesn't he, Jared? They really they lack a tall player in those centre square contests.
Pert off the ground. Always a dangerous one when a player falls across your knee like that. Gayfer taken high. Must be a free kick against Ben Durlin.
Oh, gee, I thought he might have been a bit lucky to get that one. In fact, he was bending over. I thought he had hold of his Guernsey.
Collingwood go forward. Bayes over the back with one arm. Pushes the ball over the boundary line for a throw-in. Hasn't been a bad game from Bayes. Came under a bit of pressure after his performance on Kernahan in the State of Origin game. Monkhurst, he's been moved into the ruck. Bayes, give them some run. Obviously with John down, they need an option. They preferred Strooper on the half-forward line. And Collingwood will take a free kick through Francis.
On to Shane Kerrison. Kerrison short of the right centre wing. Holmes in front, Rowe behind. Rowe wins it and then gets tackled pretty smartly. There will be a free kick. He was held but not in possession, says the umpire. And Starcevic gives the ball back. 5 minutes left in this match. Brad Rowe, who too has had a stint on the bench this evening. Mark taken by Brunton. Brunton at left half back for Sydney. He's going to go across the ground. Might be dangerous. Right, ducking back. Strooper over the top. McCartney and Nettlebeck. Ball still there to be won. McCartney does. Hand pass onto Shaw. Morwood can score from there. Wobbly kick off the boot. Out of bounds on the full, was it?
Yes.
No score.
It was a shocker, in fact, there from Shane Morwood. He's played pretty well early, but you would expect better from that distance, Sherrod. Only about 35 metres out, but there will be a boundary throw in that kick just falling inside the arena of play.
So it's going to be Starcevic and Mooney. The goal here would certainly seal it for Collingwood. Maybe Morwood can make amends. Left foot snap, never really got there. Mooney shovels the ball out. Mitchell does likewise. Plenty of Swans there. Gee, that's a scoop from Creswell. The umpire says no, it's okay. And Dennis Carroll, the captain, back in action tonight after a run of injuries. Lewis did a great job on Dacos early. Tries for Gray. He's got plenty of opposition from Francis, who gets coat hangered just about.
Free kick behind play, Pete.
Yes,
Back to Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis hand passed it out in front of him, and then he was thrown to the ground, so the free kick had to go to Lewis.
Lewis takes the kick. Carroll over the top. A little bit of a nudge out. Unable to take the mark. Gavin Krasiska battling on well and then succeeds in taking the ball over the boundary line. It'll be thrown in 55 metres from goal. Well, again, the Swans giving a good account of themselves for most of the match tonight. You can see the freeze there quarter by quarter.
Look at the last quarter, Pete. 11-3 in favour of Collingwood.
It just goes to show you don't pay out the umpires at three-quarter time.
Well, that might be a good lesson, Jared. But then again, you know, the player that gets in front and is prepared to put his body in often gets a free kick. And there's one player who
always get the free kick.
He's bought in all night, Tony Francis, and the player who puts his body over the ball has every chance of getting the free kick, as the umpire often does award.
11-3 though, Bernie. There's a fair disparity there. Francis attempts the torpedo punt, turned into a mongrel, and gets good roll on the ball there. It gained Collingwood an extra 10 yards. They keep it in play through Starcevic now. He knocks it forward. Brad Rowe at the bottom of the pack. He also flicks it forward, but only comes as far as Mooney. Didn't show good handball skills there, Mooney, but it's effective. Kelly gives it to Lawson, who's under the hammer. Once again, Kelly, he's dragged off the ball. Wonder if he was in possession. The umpire thought so. Lawson to the centre. A high ball. Engove. And right. Through comes Strooper. Swans need a goal. With 2.5 minutes to play, it will only make their score more respective. That must be a free kick, surely.
Yes, to be taken by Strooper. In fact,
might be 52, is it?
Certainly is, Peter.
It's a 50-metre penalty.
So from the middle of the ground on the wing, a 50-metre penalty brings him up. So let's see how far the umpire backtracks.
Another 3 or 4 would do it, I think. There he is, yep.
Well, that makes him about, I'd say 35 metres out from goal. 50-metre line. There's some dispute as to whether it is in fact 50 here at the SCG.
A very good last quarter by Strooper too, Jared. He's kicked 2 goals for the term and had Michael Gayfer taken from him. Jason McCartney now picking up David Strooper.
Well, this to kick Sydney Swans' 14th goal for the evening. As you say, Bernie, he has been one of the sparks in this last quarter. So from 35 metres, once again from a 50-metre penalty, Strooper comes in and straight through the middle for his third goal for the quarter. Collingwood leads 17-11, 113 to Sydney 14-12, 96.
It's a 23-point advantage. In fact, they've brought that down to 17 points as we see this free kick again. Strooper saw the tackle about to be applied, but really it was one or the other against McCartney or against Wright. It didn't matter.
3 goals to Strooper. Too little too late perhaps, but it has been a good last quarter by him. Under 2 minutes left in the game. Up to Collingwood's full forward position. Maybe the Magpies can answer again as they have done all night. Carroll, Starcevic, a flick over the top. McGuan bends it back. Not far enough. And through 4, only 1 behind. By Mick McGuan. 1-1. He has kicked tonight. 96 to 114. And again we go back to that first part of the second quarter. And the Swans were blitzed by Collingwood. They fought back well from that, but it was too big a lead. Lewis up. Couldn't take the mark. Angove on right centre wing. Under pressure. Kicks to right half forward. Strooper was the target again. And the ball standing on end. That's a good party trick if you can do it. So a throw-in will take place midfield. Or on the wing. But to the credit of Sydney, they'll fought it out right to the end. Bayes is going to do the ruck work about their last tour they have left, I think, with John limping. Scotty Russell does well off the edge of the square. 20-metre hand pass to Shane Kerrison, this time in front of Mitchell. He kicks up inside 50. Rowe in front, tried to take the mark, couldn't do so. It rebounds, picked up by Morwood. Morwood's short kick, marked well by Lewis. Certainly one of Sydney's better players tonight. He took Dacos out completely, and that's not easy to do. Lawson intended for Mitchell. Bad hand pass. Bayes tried to get Morwood, couldn't. Onto Monkhurst. 30-metre hand pass that time. Shaw onto Francis. He must about be best on ground. Graham Wright, he's been on and off the bench a couple of times. In front, Rocker, but Brunton will take the rebound for Sydney.
Dennis Carroll with 14 seconds left. He drives Sydney further ahead. The game is all lost and it's also won by Collingwood. However, as you said, Peter, I'm sure Buck and I will be far happier with their performance.
They've had worse performances, haven't they, Gerard?
Yes, and there's the siren. A good victory to Collingwood. And that's the first time the Grand Slam has been won in the AFL. Final score, Collingwood 17-12, 114. Defeated Sydney by 3 straight goals, 14-12, 96.